Welcome back. This is John Locke. And today I'm answering a question that I saw in an SEO forum. This person is going in, they're applying for an SEO job with a company, SEO agency, and they know that they're going to get asked this question: how do you build links? And they're kind of unsure of how to answer. Now, there's only a handful of ways that you can build links in a way that's above board with Google's policies, and want to highlight those really quick. The foundational, building links on the third-party profiles that Google is going to expect to see you on. Number two, build great content and people will link to it. Now, the thing that people don't talk about with this one is that you have to get that content to rank somehow, and then people really start linking to it. Once you actually get it to rank, then you're going to get more links. Okay, another way is guest posting. People say that, or leveraging your relationships within the web publishing world. So you can either pay for guest posting. Google would normally frown on that. They can't always really tell if a place is paying or asking people to pay for guest posting, or you could just leverage the friendships and alliances that you have within the industry to get those guest posts and maybe get a link back to your site. Another way that you could do, and this is a very popular way, is just do simple link outreach. Okay, so asking people for links, and this happens all the time. If you own a website, somebody has probably emailed you at some point, maybe even recently, asking for a link, especially if you have a blog or any types of resources, anything that ranks in any type of way. People are probably looking for a link. They're saying like, hey, here's this great resource over here. Can you please link to it? So that's another way. Another way that you could do is what we call help a reporter out, HARO, backlinks. Now these are this is a service. Basically, you sign up for it, you get emails. There's all types of people that are out there. They're writing articles for the web. They're publishing on different websites, and they have deadlines. They got to get this stuff published, and they need input from experts. So basically, what happens is it fires out these different emails. These people say like, hey, we need someone to pitch for this article. We need some information. Maybe we'll credit you with a link back to your site. Maybe. Sometimes it happens, not always. Sometimes they just quote you, sometimes they link back to your site. But you can sign up for this. There's different types of categories that you can sign up for, but this happens. You get 3 emails a day, Monday through Friday, so you can definitely get links like that, okay? And what else is there? Buying links. Just straight up buying links from a link reseller or an article farm or something like that. Now, there's some high profile link resellers out there. I don't necessarily recommend that you go and do that because oftentimes, the link quality is not that good. And that brings me to another thing that I want to talk about with this. Now, a lot of these, you might get email solicitations for these all the time. I know I do. I get all kinds of emails from different people saying like, hey, we can get you links on this site, this site, and that site. And here's a list of examples. I don't know if they actually got links or sell links on these sites. I have no idea. But they will often pitch it as like, oh, this site has a DA of 80 or 90 or 70 or whatever. The DA is what they call domain authority, and I believe I think it's like Moz came up with this first. Moz is an SEO tool. They have their own proprietary metrics, and all these SEO tools have some sort of proprietary metric where they basically try and measure, what is the authority or the link profile strength of this different site. Because when you get a hyperlink from one site over to your site, that's basically like a vote of confidence. But in theory, the way that at least the way that it worked long ago, basically was The sites that have the most links coming into them have the most authority, so they would be like, on a scale of 1 to 100, like 100 being the highest. If you get a link from like a 90 plus domain authority site, then that would be good for your SEO. Now, nowadays there's a lot more nuance to it than that. I mean, we're talking like a long time ago when it comes to this. And again, domain authority, URL strength, or all these different things that people measure, whether you're using a tool like Moz or Majestic or Ahrefs or anything like that. All these scores are basically, they're not exactly how Google evaluates it. Google has their own way of evaluating it. But like I said, there's a lot more nuance to it, and sites that have nothing to do with your site at all, or Google would not expect to see a link from that site to yours. These sorts of links have a diminished effect. Their strength is not what this so-called domain authority or DA score would be, okay? It's much better, in my opinion at least. I don't know how other SEO consultants might feel, but in my opinion, in my experience, it's better to get links from websites that are very closely related to yours. They do the same type of business that you do. Or Google would say, that is a very logical link for this site to get. Or a human being would say, that's a very logical link to get. If a human being can look at it and say like, hey, that link really makes no sense, it looks like it's manipulated, it looks like they bought this link for the express purpose of moving some of that link equity from this site over to this one, and then those have a diminished power. Their power is reduced. Okay, that's just what I've seen. So, you can definitely take a chance and buy links if that's what you want to do. I want to revisit one of the things that I talked about, the second type of link building. This is actually very effective as well. If you can get content to rank and it's something where it's some sort of reference or it answers some sort of question. And being in web development and SEO, web development first for many years, been doing SEO pretty much primarily for about 3 years now. I have a lot of these articles on my own site, and some of them get links from places because they end up ranking for certain questions, like people type in, why is this happening? Why is Google doing this? Or they have, some sort of reference, or how do I make, my website do this? How do I make, what's the hex code for this, website, or something like that. So when you have things that rank for these sorts of things, you tend to get links from other websites, if you rank. Now, if you don't rank at all for any of these things, then it's a little bit more difficult. So the trick with writing good content and getting it to rank is basically you have to spread it around to all your friends, hope that they kind of, give it a little push. Maybe they put it in their email list, they put it on social, grabs people's attentions, maybe somebody gives it a few links here and there. But once you get it to rank, that's when it really becomes kind of self-perpetuating. But again, you want to keep up with that content and make sure that it's constantly refreshed and up to date, current with whatever the situation is. Don't let that information become outdated or obsolete, and you'll still be getting those links later on. But if the information on this high-ranking piece of content becomes obsolete, outdated, or just non-factual, then other things are going to get pushed up higher. So that's the way that works. So that's a good answer that you can give to somebody saying, how are you going to build links? What's your link building strategy? Because those are basically the ways that you can do it with being above board, okay? And playing by the Google rules. I mean, there's other things that you can do for sure, but they're not things that I necessarily advise you to do. These are things that are safe, and these are the lowest risk. So my name is John Locke. My business is Lockdown Design and SEO. I'm here about every other day making videos on SEO. I would appreciate a subscription. We're almost to 1,000 subscribers, so let's get there. And until next time, peace.